Hey, welcome to the weekly wrap up. Now we are live in Getting Started in Crypto on X, on YouTube, on LinkedIn and Instagram. I think I got them all this time.
Indeed. Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us as always. New all-time high for Bitcoin.
Another one.
Another one. And it feels like the certainly the timeline on X just kind of has accepted it now compared to when it hit 100k. I know that was a slightly different all-time high, but still it's just like seems like people are like, whatever, it's just Bitcoin, it's just at 100 and whatever.
Yeah, it just keeps going up. It's okay. It's all good.
Crazy psychology. Okay, anything you wanted to look at or cover before we jump into Bitcoin?
No, it's been corrections happening across the board. That's kind of what we looked at last week. We've still probably got a little bit more of that to go while Bitcoin does its thing. They move in turn, as I've explained many times, but I'll explain that again today. So yeah, is there any interesting questions there to start off?
There was one that came in from GSIC. Outside of your usual area of expertise, do you have an opinion on the new US administration and their policies or implications for crypto?
I don't have an opinion as such, but I do think it's good for crypto. I do think, adding Bitcoin to their treasury is good for crypto. Anything like that is good for crypto. Essentially, they've got a pro-crypto government coming in, so good for crypto. So that's about the only opinion I have. I just like it because it's good for crypto. I'm not American, so it doesn't really have a major influence on me. But yeah, if it's good for crypto, it's good for me.
I think personally, just it comes down to that age-old, what are you in crypto for? If people are in crypto for the technology or whether they're in crypto to just make crypto / money, and that's it, regardless of the technology. And I think then that would have a different opinion on whether the government's good for it. Whether the government is good for crypto in terms of its technology and what it can do and if they can harness it is always going to be, we'll have to wait and see for me.
Yeah, I think that's the next step across the board. We're already seeing in Australia, the banks over here are playing with crypto. So there's going to be that move, I think, to a digital dollar in the not so distant future. We've got digital IDs across the board now. Yeah, so there's a lot happening in Australia. Well, that's where Bitcoin was born. So I'm going to get hate for that one, but yeah. So it's good. It's good for crypto.
Yeah, I think if the technology can be harnessed long term, then it's good. But obviously, back to the other point of if it's good for the trading side and for making crypto and money, well, then it's already kind of having its effect, as we see from Trump being elected and Bitcoin shooting to 100k and all the chatter about it. Obviously, from a fundamental analysis
All in the
point of view.
charts. It's like I keep telling you, it's all in the charts. It's like if we go to my quantitative chart, it's all there. It's been there forever. It's like,
well, then let's take a look at them, see what's happening next.
Let's jump into Bitcoin. New all-time high. That's it. End of story. Finished now. We've just hit the pivot, 106. That was a target for a long time. We do have 5 waves in this section. So this is a leading diagonal, really messy, really choppy. That's what leading diagonals look like. Ideally, we could get some sort of small pullback. We've got a couple of supports. We've got an upper support now, which would leave a pullback to 103. We've got a slightly lower support, which is down at 100k again, and then a lower support at 97. Doubt we're going down there, but it is possible. So it just does look like Bitcoin's just getting snapped up. So I do believe these pullbacks will be minor if we do get them in this region. Thing to watch is BTC dominance is trying to break over that resistance. So this is a channel that it was in, broke down, allowed alts to move. That's essentially when we're watching dominance, where if it's going up, alts are going to be sitting still or they're going to be dipping. So that's when we know they're in that corrective pattern, which they have been. Most are in a fourth wave. So Bitcoin dominance on the rise can go in this pattern up to about 59.1%. So without like going into a bullish pattern. So that is still a bearish pattern for this Bitcoin dominance. And if it turns down at that point, we'll be retesting the bottom. That will allow the alts to move into those first of those fifth waves. So that's what we want to see. A lot more volume coming into Bitcoin at the moment, just due to the fact there's so much publicity about, you know, obviously America adding to Treasury. A lot of Fortune 500 companies are making way for Bitcoin to be there. So it's going to be huge. So, yeah, Bitcoin is looking mighty fine.
Okay, and if we move along the tabs, should we take a look at Ethereum? And I feel like Ethereum's still waiting its time to shine a bit more. It tried it.
Yeah, I think once we get to that, I think it's a Petra upgrade for Ethereum. This is still Bitcoin, this chart. This is the quantitative chart. This 126 can go higher, but that's potentially a wave one high here. So just be aware, 126, 127 upper limits, and then a pullback, and it'll be sideways choppy. So yeah, Petra upgrade for Ethereum coming in the next couple of months or month, I think. I'm not really sure, might have happened, but Ethereum hasn't done much at all. We are still sitting under the pivot for Ethereum, so it's still not super bullish as yet. And I say as yet because this pattern is forming beautifully. And when ETH is ugly, it goes up. So we like ETH going up. I especially like ETH going up because I've traded a lot. But potentially could have one more wave down. This is a 3-day chart, so I'm going to drop this down to a daily. On the daily, we are just about to go into this cross. So we've had the 50 and the 100. We've had the 50 and the 200. We're about to get 100 and a 200. When that crosses, it's going to be epic. So, yeah. Hang on, I've disappeared. I've become CryptoPlots.
That's bizarre. You keep talking, I will see what happens.
I don't know how that happened. Anyway, so Ethereum is looking good. Target sitting at, when we zoom out, at about 7,000 for a wave 3. And yeah, looking really, really good.
Okay. I don't know if maybe your camera went offline or something weird. Maybe you jump out the StreamYard and jump back in, and we'll see if that works. So unfortunately, everyone, you've just got me and you're not here to see me, obviously. We'll just wait for Lisa to rejoin us, which shouldn't take long at all, and hopefully we can get her back on camera. Okay, let's have a look. There we go.
Let me just share my screen. Yay! Magic of live, like stuff with the internet and dropping out and being awesome. So back to ETH. We are looking at this as being similar to what Bitcoin has just done, potentially one more small pullback, but we've got those daily crosses happening. RSI on Ethereum just did a daily buy. So it's only a matter of time. Even if we get one more small dip, this is about to go into a third wave. So that's where we get all the money. The third wave is where we get all the money. So go Ethereum. Yay. Yeah, so potentially about going up to that 7K on this next wave up. So all going to plan. May not. Ethereum's been lagging. So
okay. Did you want to go anywhere else, or should we take a quick break and look at some?
Yeah, take a quick break and let's look at some alts. There's not a lot because they're all in correction, but we'll have a look at a few.
Sure. If you take a look at the comments, there's one from YouTube with a few requests in there. You might want to pick one out of there. We've got a few in the emails as well. So CAS and ICP.
All right. Lovely.
All right. Let's jump out for 30 seconds. We'll be back shortly. Alrighty.
And we're back.
Ready to rock and roll.
Just opening these charts. Hang on, my hair is doing weird things today. Wow, that was one of our awesome signals in at GSIC. 193% on that one. Woohoo! Yeah. So if you're not in GSIC, I don't know, what are you doing? What are you doing? So getting started in crypto.com says it right on the screen there. So this is Gala. So they have Gala Film, which is very similar to Coin Runners. So if you haven't got a Coin Runners, you want to get one of those, because having a Coin Runners NFT unlocks the Be Like Lisa learning center, basically. So you want to have one of those, and there's going to be Like Lisa NFTs as well that you can unlock, or you can just use crypto or cash or however you want to buy. But that is going to be launching soon. So let's go into Gala and just see where we are in the pattern. I'm going to put some fibs on. We've had a nice pullback to a 0.5. Now 0.5 is a perfect retrace for a wave 4. Normally doesn't go much further down than that. Occasionally, some of the weaker alts will go down to the 618 or the 786, but most of them stay at the 0.5, especially when they're bullish. So this is looking really good. So it looks like it's in the internals of a B wave. So it could be a triangle. So if it's a triangle, it's going to look something like this. Now, we say to always buy the C wave, because you're never guaranteed to get the D or the E wave. In super bullish like momentum, we're going to start going from the C wave. So we're not quite there yet. So we will be coming back down for that C. That can truncate as well. So when the market gets super bullish, these waves won't reach their fib levels. They will go just above, because the bots start buying higher. So every exchange has trading bots that sort of keep the market moving. So the bots start buying higher when it gets starting to get more and more bullish. So for Carver, still very much, Gala, sorry, very much so in that fourth wave. And yeah, it probably has, like, this is an A, a B, and coming up for a C wave of that B. So that's the internals of that wave. So A, B, C. So you should be moving, heading up soon. B wave can go a little bit lower if Bitcoin decides to pull back. Carver we have next is right down here. So I'm going to zoom out on this one and have a look at a weekly chart, I think, just to get some sort of idea as to where we're looking with sort of indicators, that sort of thing. Let me take off some of these levels that I've had on there. We can see currently on the weekly, it's hit the 100 MA and it's had a rejection, but it's been saved by the 9 and 21 EMA. So they have crossed on the weekly. So that's a really strong bullish sign. So as long as it can sort of build that momentum, get through that 100 MA, then we are good to go. Look, when I zoom in on this, we can see again, similar to Gala, we're having a fourth wave. So when I drop this down to the daily, we can get a better indication. So we've got 100 and 200 MA crossing on the daily, very strong bullish sign, probably come back and retest that region, which is at 0.42, and then a continuation up. So it's going to sit in that pattern for a little bit. So alts are just going to trend sideways while BTC and Ethereum do their thing. So this is probably going to look something like this. Remember, buy the C wave, don't wait for the E wave. E wave doesn't normally cross down lower than the C. So always buy the C. So yeah, so it's looking pretty good, just needs to get out of that choppy fourth wave, and it is good to go, looking good with the indicators are looking strong. For CAS, it had a breakout and then went no, back under. It's kind of a bit choppy at the moment, could be coming down. It didn't break out, so the pivot on this one was at 192, has rejected at that point, so potentially it's doing the D wave. So this is a bit of an ugly pattern. So it's not looking great. I would say maybe it's a W, X, Y, X, Z. So as long as it doesn't break down below that 9093, this is a good pattern. It may just consolidate in this region and then head up, but it's kind of struggling a bit and dipping below that support. So that's not ideal, which means it's probably got one more wave down lower to go. And I'm going to pull this one back. Sushi, same thing happening. Potentially we've got that triangle as well happening for sushi. It's had a really, really nice strong run. So A, B, C, D, E. And if we put a fib on this, oops, there we go, to that wave, it's come back down almost to the 0.5. So that's a really strong correction for a fourth wave for sushi. Now, alternate patterns on these are basically a falling wedge. So, you know, if we get the falling wedge pattern, still essentially the A, B, C, D, E, A, B, C, D, E would come back down to the 618. So that's the alternate pattern for a lot of these alts. If they're not going into an equilateral triangle, they're going to be coming down into a falling wedge. We don't know until we get some resistances start to build, and then we can work out whether we've got falling wedge or an equilateral triangle. So yeah, that is what we're looking at. Oh, we've got an XRP in there in YouTube. Sideways forever. So XRP, similar thing to what we were seeing with CAS. So essentially this is, oops, grab the right one. A, B, C, D, could be that. Ideally, I'd say potentially this is an A, B, C, and this is coming like just consolidating, really tight consolidation in that region, and should take off. So I think for XRP, because you guys are all so excited about this, that dips are definitely for buying. There is a lower support when we put, we've got our wave high and our wave low. So if we get a pullback, it could come back to 2. So that's worst case scenario. Best case scenario, this is like just going to trend sideways and then take off again. So yeah, that's it for XRP.
Okay, there was one more. There's one more in the emails just for ICP. I believe that's all of them at the moment.
Amazing. Okay, this is one of our awesome signals in the group. So it's gone to 1, 2, 3, 4 targets so far. It is in that 4th wave correction. Now I'm just going to move these out of the way so we can see what's going on and see where this pattern is. So this is an hourly chart, and you can see we've got some internals happening on those subwaves just to see where we're kind of going. I'm going to take this up again to the daily just to see what that pattern is looking like. And everything's squished in again. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, this is 3, this is our 4. So we want ideally this wave here. This is 1, 2, so we want this one hold. 9.7 is our pivot. So if it crosses down below there, it's no longer bullish, it's bearish. So we don't want that to happen. So we want it to hold above there. We want this to be, this will be our 4th wave. So ideally we're in the internals of the B. So that would look like an A coming in the B and a C. And overall, we've more than likely got triangle. Can pull some levels from here. If we're looking at, I'm going to just change the color for the next one. I'm going to make that yellow. No, I'm going to make it blue, aqua. So if we're looking at this and we've got a wedge or a channel, downtrend channel forming on this, yeah, that's a potential where we've got the high already. We're not going to get the C wave. It'll just be really congested in that region. So looking at some fibs on this, we only want to take that 3rd wave because this isn't a completed wave. So we only want the 3rd wave. We don't want to take the whole structure. Looking at that, it's come back down to the 618. So that's a really solid correction for this one. Potentially could come down and retest on that support. So I'd say more than likely it's going to do that C wave, considering it's come back down to that 618, and then it'll come back down to the 0.5, which is about 11. So that would look like A, B, C, D, E. So you want to be buying that C wave, and that is going to be about 11.7.
Okay.
But you could do a quick trade here. It's a bit risky. It's an internal wave, so yeah. But most alts are going to be in these 4th wave corrections. 4th waves have the most patterns. They're the most complex. They can get wave failures in them. They become WXYs. Then they get triple patterns. They get, yeah. So it's just one step at a time as we move along with these and kind of knowing, okay, we've got a wedge forming, we've got a triangle forming, and knowing where those patterns are.
No, just pump coming from Twitter, sorry, X. Can you chart PLS, the pulse chain ticker, this pulse chain? Yeah, I didn't recognize it first off. So,
PLS or PLSX?
well, actually, they've asked for both PLS and PLSX. I'm not entirely sure of the difference.
Doesn't exist. Gone.
That doesn't help.
It's got a Santa hat on though. So
Let's
well
try
done, Trading View. It looks good. Let's try for PLS. Gone.
Go on.
Hang on. I'll try a different exchange. See if we can do somewhere. Crypto. Mexi. Woo! Mexi always has it. So Mexi has everything. Now, if you're not on Mexi, like I've got some really good deals. I should post those on Twitter for you guys as well. So some sign-up deals when you put some money in there, they're going to give you some bonuses. So I haven't put any of those out forever. Yeah. So we've kind of got some funky stuff happening here. Not a lot of data. We can see we've only just dropped like 6 months ago. So this looks like we've completed. Most coins drop in, they have a correction, they do an ABC, they do something like that. This one's definitely done that. We can see we dropped in, ABC, off we go. So hopefully, this is impulsive and it will hold the wave one high. So it cannot come down. If this is bullish, I'm going to put my magic blue pivot there. It cannot go down past lots of zeros, 6297. If it goes down past there, it's not bullish anymore. That's a pivot break. So you don't want it to go past there. But potentially this is going to retest this breakout. Sort of, this was a resistance, came up 3 times, 4th time, and it's broken out. So normally there's 3 retests on a 4th time. There's a breakout or a breakdown, depending on which way we're going, whether we're bullish or bearish. So that's kind of how they work. Now, this is coming back down potentially to around 66669, lots of zeros in front. And then we should continue up. We've still got a lot of momentum, provided that holds. Next will be the 618, which is 1187 up to the 786, and then it should take off. So if this is like a wave one forming, it'll stop at that 0.5 or the 618. So it will essentially look like 1, 2, 3. So it might go up to the 618. It looks like it's got enough momentum there. So that's a wave one, and then it goes into a 3. So we'd get a pullback on that wave 5, and then we'd go 1 pullback there up to the 1, 2, 3, 6 down here, and then 1, 6, 8. So that's essentially could go. They can extend on a wave 3, and quite often they have been. So this is kind of the roadmap, provided that 6297 holds. But yeah, it's looking quite nice for Pulse Chain. A lot of these smaller chains are kind of starting to look like this. They've broken out from their resistance, and they're just kind of sitting there until they get some volume, and they'll retest, off they go. And yeah, make sure you catch it.
Okay, cool. Excellent. All right. Anything else you wanted to cover before we wrap up the wrap up?
No, just keep an eye out over the coming like week or 2 for the Be Like Lisa course site. There's a 21-day free crypto mastery. So just getting into the mindset, getting those emotions right, and it's going to be perfect to start for New Year's. I know we haven't hit Christmas yet, but I'm already thinking ahead.
Okie dokie. Excellent. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. Have a great week ahead, and we will catch you all soon.
Cool. Bye.
Bye.